Hello YouTube, it's Ryan here with Hobby the Man once again, and today we're going to be doing a review of Tales of the Jedi, the six episode animated series that just came out from Disney Plus, or from Disney in general, from Lucasfilm. And so I wasn't really sure how to go about this, so I guess I'll talk about it in general, and then I'll talk about each set of episodes, because the series is divided into two groups of things. The Ahsoka episodes and the Dooku episodes, all six of them do have a chronological order that is not based on what the character is about. It's mostly like a thematic thing. So the first episode is called Life and Death. It talks about Ahsoka. Then there's 3 Dooku episodes, and then 5 and 6, which are the other Ahsoka episodes. And there's this through line of like the birth of a Jedi, the disillusionment of a Jedi, like the loss of their desire to be part of the order, and then the last episode is basically the realization that you can still do good as a Jedi without being part of the Jedi, or without being part of the order, which is basically what Ahsoka represents most wholly in just about everything she's in after the Clone Wars. And that's really all there is to it. That's basically what this story is, but it is divided into 2 different characters. So Ahsoka specifically, the first episode is about her birth and her first year of life. The bulk of the episode is actually about this ritual hunt that is part of her people's culture, where Ahsoka is taken by her mother Pavti into the wild to hunt some bivuk, I think is what it's called, or vbuck, which are these antelope-looking creatures that live in the forest near her house. And as she and her mother are there hunting, they get attacked by an akul, which is a giant saber-toothed tiger-esque thing, which is, if I remember correctly, in the Legends series, or in the Legends of Star Wars, the akul were a very important, meaningful aspect of Togruta culture, and all of their headdresses would be made with akul teeth, and there was this kind of more like savage, but also very earthly, holistic kind of vibe to the Togruta. That's not necessarily the case in here. It is the case, but it seems like they have moved away from the old ways. But Pafti wanted to make the old ways be part of Ahsoka's childhood, and so that's why she took her on this hunt. And at some point, Ahsoka manages to use beast taming on the akul, which I don't remember her having this ability. I don't know. I don't think it's a retcon, and I really don't care about retcons in this kind of scale. At the end of the day, Filoni can do whatever he wants with his own character, as long as it's not super egregious to what he made before, right? Like, within the continuity of his own writing, it has to be continuous, or it has to make sense. But at the end of the day, Filoni does have control over his own character, and if he wants to retcon novels, he definitely can. I mean, at the end of the day, as much as it kind of sucks, novels are not the end-all be-all of canon. They're very unimportant to the broad scheme of things, which is why I don't personally read novels. I only read the High Republic stuff, and only the adult novels, because I know that they're going to be retconned a lot. So that's my idea on retcons, but I don't think that Ahsoka having beast taming skills is a retcon, because this is a specific force power. I just think she didn't really show it off that much. She might have, I don't really remember, but she manages to tame it, and then everyone in her village knows that she is going to be a Jedi, and so the episode ends. Then all of the Dooku episodes are basically about Dooku going to a place, realizing that the senator, or the people in charge of the government, are bad, and realizing that he can't really do anything about it because he is part of the system, and that everyone thinks that Jedi are just the Republic lapdogs, the Senate lapdogs. And he becomes disillusioned with his part of the in the system, with his part to do with this group of people, right? So in episode 2, he actually starts to delve into the dark side. He and young Qui-Gon Jinn are at this place. They're dealing with this senator's child being kidnapped, and there's an altercation. Dooku starts choking the senator because he managed to take all the money and all the riches from his own country and is using it for his own benefit, and Dooku's really angry about this. Qui-Gon tries to stop him, but Dooku overpowers him and sends him flying back. And it's a really interesting kind of bit of darkness there. It's, I think, the first major time that Dooku touches the dark side, and it really spells out the start of Dooku's fall. Episode 3 deals with Dooku and Windu. Dooku is significantly older now. He does have his beard now. And they go to retrieve Master Katri's body because he died. And it turns out that they didn't die trying to protect the senator. They died in an attempted coup of some sort. And it turns out that, again, the governor or the senator was taking advantage of his people's position to try to make himself richer. The people were trying to rebel, and here we actually get to see Dooku kind of further straying from the order, because one of the rebels says something that really strikes a chord with Dooku, and Dooku talks to him. He's like, "Hey man, you're not exactly wrong, but your methods are significantly worse than they should be for what you're trying to achieve." And then Dooku loses faith in the order completely because Windu gets a raise out of this situation, even though Dooku is the one that was doing the right thing, right? So I do think that at this point, it's when he leaves the order after this episode. And then episode 4 deals with Dooku having his proper fall to the dark side due to the fact that Qui-Gon Jinn has died. No one listened to Qui-Gon Jinn. And then Yaddle and Dooku have a battle where she dies. And Dooku finally becomes Darth Tyrannus. Then episode 5 is Ahsoka's episode. Again, she is training. Mostly it's tough love from Anakin, but instead of the usual tough love where like your father or your parental figure doesn't explain to you the point of tough love, they just do it to make you stronger. He actually tells her exactly why he's doing this, and I think that really helps Ahsoka understand where he's coming from. And I really like that moment a lot because, you know, the master of the Jedi and the Padawan is usually like a father-child or a mother-child system, and it works well. Anakin is significantly younger than the usual master, so he's not really a father. He's more like an older brother, but he does still have to instill this like tough love into Ahsoka, and the way he does it is really, really good. I quite like it. I think it works really nicely. And then episode 6 is after Padme's death. Ahsoka goes to the funeral, and she meets Bail Organa. Organa gives her a comlink, and then she goes away, and she lives on a farm. Eventually, someone figures out that she's a Jedi, and they call the government on her, and actually there's an Inquisitor that gets sent there, and the Inquisitor raises the village down, leaves 2 people alive, plus the one that was with Ahsoka, and Ahsoka has a battle with this Inquisitor, kills the Inquisitor, and then Ahsoka needs to call Bail Organa, even though she doesn't want to, in order to make sure that these people can go somewhere else and be safe away from the Empire. So it ends with Ahsoka reaffirming herself as a Jedi, as a fighter for peace and prosperity and all of the good things that Jedi is supposed to do without being part of the Order. And this directly contrasts with Dooku, because Dooku and Ahsoka at this point are fighting for the same thing, but Dooku went to the dark side the same way Anakin did. And Ahsoka manages to remain in the light. And I think it's a really good story. I really liked it. I think the thematics of this are really good. However, I do have some complaints here and there. The biggest elephant in the room is the fact that Filoni retcons the E.K. Johnson Ahsoka novel. Again, like I said, sorry, but novels and comic books are significantly lower on the totem pole of canonicity than the live action and the animated stuff. And the novel is based on Filoni's work, and specifically like Filoni's notes and stuff like that. So if he decides that he wants to change it later on when he gets the opportunity to actually do it in television, I think it is perfectly valid and fair. I do think that some people are making the issue seem bigger than it is by adding some stuff about how there's this erasure of this bisexual character. I don't know if that's true or not. I didn't read the novel. I didn't find it to be meaningful enough. And at the time when the novel was coming out, I did hear that a lot of people didn't really like it, so I never checked it out. I'm not sure it is the case. I've seen 2 or 3 tweets about it, and all of the replies are always asking who this character is. Obviously, this character is not that important if no one knows who it is, so it doesn't really matter. The characters in the farm episode are still not white characters, so I don't really understand the issue, because it's like a combination of 2 things. It's one that the character in the novel was not white, and also was bi, I think. And again, the characters in the episode are not white anyway, so I don't know if that's the case. And you could definitely say that there's bisexual undertones to the female character that Ahsoka saves. She's really into Ahsoka beyond the fact that she just saved her. So I don't know. I don't really think that anything was significantly retconned. And even if it was, again, this is Filoni's work. He can do it if he wants to. It's not that big of a deal. If most people didn't know who this character was, you're not erasing anything. That's just my opinion. I don't know if it matters too much. Some people might be upset about it. Some people might not. I don't know. I don't really think it matters all that much. There's significantly better characters of that kind of vibe actualized currently in the story. Cinta and Vel in Andor are significantly better and more well-known versions of this same kind of character type. So it seems weird to me to complain about one thing in the animated thing, or in the animated show, when the physical live action shows are doing a much better job of it in the same vein, right? And specifically in the same day and week. So I don't know. It seems too complex to me in that sense, and I don't really have a good opinion that is like based on me being part of those groups. So maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not. I don't know. But my point of view is that it seems too big of a deal over something that's very minor. Other than that, there are 2 other issues, or not really issues, just kind of mild complaints. One of them is that Qui-Gon Jinn's model, the adult version, the Phantom Menace looking one, looks too realistic compared to everything else. And I don't really like it all that much, because when he's talking to Dooku, who, by the way, looks really young compared to Qui-Gon Jinn in that scene. They look almost the same age, whereas I think Dooku should be like 70 or 80, and Qui-Gon Jinn is like 59 or something. I think they look almost the same age, and I think that the Qui-Gon Jinn look is too realistic compared to everyone else in the show. So that's one complaint. The other complaint I had was that sometimes I feel like there's a lack of information given in terms of like the timeline of events, and I think that it would have been really good or very useful, in my opinion, to have, at least for the Dooku episodes, a very clear like little piece of information at the beginning of the episode that says, hey, this happened this year before the Battle of Yavin, and this year before Anakin was taken in by Qui-Gon Jinn, or some other kind of like timeline thing, so that you know exactly when it happens. Because I feel like sometimes there was not enough information given, because these are like snapshots of situations, right? They're not the whole thing. And a beginning page that kind of has a little bit of script in it that explains the setup would have been really, really good, or the fallout of the situation. Like, I'm not sure exactly when Dooku leaves the Order, if it's after Qui-Gon Jinn dies, or in the second episode that deals with him, episode 3, after Mace Windu is elevated to the council while Dooku is ignored. Because both of them seem like very likely situations for him to leave the Order. So I would have liked to know that based on the show, when it is that he actually leaves. But it's not that big of a deal. Those are my 2 only complaints I have. The other thing that I mentioned earlier about the retconning is more of an observation, not necessarily a complaint. I don't care too much, although it is kind of interesting that, when the sequels not retconned, but like completely changed characters from the original stuff. No one cared, or like people are told to suck it up, that it's not that big of a deal. But then when this happens, which is a very minor retcon, people get angry when you tell them it's not a big deal. So I don't know. It's not that big of a deal. Like I said, at the end of the day, I'm not gonna get that heated over Star Wars. I'm past that at this point. So mostly I just kind of enjoy what I'm getting, and if I like it, I like it, and if I don't, I don't. It's just what it is. I really enjoyed everything in Tales of the Jedi. I thought it was really great. I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait for another season. I would like to see Jedi that are less important, though. Jedi that are doing other things. I would like to see Plo Koon, and that might actually happen because if Filoni wants to continue telling all of the moments and every single moment in Ahsoka's life, her meeting Plo Koon is the next step. It is a pretty good situation to occur here in the next season. So I'd like to see a few episodes about Plo Koon. I would like to see Pong Krell's loss into the dark side. I would like to see young Anakin going on some missions with Obi-Wan. I think that would be fun. Honestly, if we're going beyond the timetable of The Phantom Menace, I would like to see young Obi-Wan and Satine in Mandalore, freedom fighting or whatever the fuck they were doing. I would like to see Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan meet. All of these little moments that are meaningful and are explored in other mediums, but to be truly canonized, they have to be in some show. So I would like to use the Tales of the Jedi to see all of those other things. And I would also like to see Jedi that are not that important, like Ayla Secura and Quinlan Vos. Would be interesting to see. Numenera Unduli would be interesting. I would like to see Shakti, I don't know, go on a cool hunt or something at some point, because she does seem to be more in line with like the old Togrutas than Ahsoka is. But yeah, I would like to see all of that stuff. I would also like to see Tales of the Sith. I'd like to see Saj Ventress dying. I would like to see Darth Plagueis. I would like to see Darth Revan. All of these types of characters. So yeah, that's all I really have to say about this series. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please do like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know what you thought. And thank you guys very much for watching. See you guys later.